Story 1. Once upon a time, there was a little girl living with her dad and baby brother. Her mom had passed away, and she missed her terribly. Her dad always told her never open the door to anyone, especially the man with no face. But one day when her dad was at work, there was a knock on the door. The girl hesitated but opened the door. Standing there was a man with a blue face. He said, "I can bring your mom back, but in return you must give me your baby brother." The girl slammed the door shut, refusing the offer. The next day, another knock. This time it was a man with a red face. "I can bring your mom back, but I'll take your dad instead," he said. Again she refused, and again she shut the door. When her dad came home, she told him about the strange visitors. He was furious and warned her again, "Don't open the door to anyone." But the very next day, when her dad was at work, there was another knock. She looked through the people and saw the man with no face. "Don't worry," he said from the other side of the door. "I can bring your mom back, and I won't take your brother or your dad." The girl was overjoyed and opened the door. But as soon as the man stepped inside, he said, "But I'll be taking you." And before she knew it, the man with no face had taken her and her baby brother. When her dad returned home, he found the door wide open. There was nothing left but a large black mark on the floor. The father, heartbroken and angry, set the house on fire, burning the black mark that had cursed his family. The screams echoed in the flames. When the house was gone, the father packed his bags and left town, never to return. Story 2. Once there was this little girl out with her grandma at the park when she spotted a store with these huge, beautiful dolls in the window. She begged her grandma, "Can we go in? Can we buy one?" But her grandma looked confused. "What store?" she asked. The girl pointed, but the shop was gone. Her grandma thought she was imagining things and rushed her home. The next day, the girl was outside again. This time, the doll shop was in her own yard. She ran home yelling, "Mom, there's a doll shop. The dolls are so beautiful. Can we get one?" But when they went to check, the shop had vanished again. That night, the girl woke up to a bright light. It was coming from her window, except it wasn't a window anymore. It was a glass door leading straight into the doll shop. Grabbing her piggy bank, she snuck inside before it disappeared again. "Looking for a doll?" a creepy man behind the counter asked. He had this weird look that sent chills down her spine. But when he pulled a doll off the shelf, huge, beautiful, almost her size, she couldn't resist. "How much?" she asked. The man pointed to her piggy bank. She handed it over. And then everything went dark. The floor vanished and she felt herself falling. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. When she opened her eyes, she was inside a box. Her hands and legs, they wouldn't move. She looked around and realized she was the doll. Her reflection stared back at her. Glass eyes, painted smile, trapped. She heard the man's whisper, "Welcome to my collection." And then, snap, the lid shut. Darkness. Story 3. There was once a boy whose parents warned him about one thing: never go near the old well. But one day, curiosity got the best of him. He snuck out and peered over the edge, and what he saw was unreal. Children playing deep inside, looking up at him and calling, "Come play with us." He couldn't resist. He climbed over the edge and jumped in. But instead of landing smoothly, he hit the ground hard, blacking out for a moment. When he opened his eyes, the children were gone. He was alone inside a twisted, dark maze. Everywhere he turned, endless corridors, dead ends, creepy echoes. Hours, maybe days passed. He thought he'd never escape. But then finally, he found an opening, and light poured in. Relief washed over him as he ran toward it, thinking, "I'm finally going home." But when he reached his house, it was unrecognizable. Dust covered everything, thick as a blanket. And when he stumbled into the backyard, he froze. Two old, weathered gravestones stood there. His parents' names were carved on each one. Turns out he had been gone a lot longer than he thought.